it into something valuable and relevant for who? For the user, for the consumer, right? Because we are here talking about business perspective, entrepreneurship perspective only. So innovation here is to create, for example, if we can take an example that, we know that this Fitbit belts, right? We have, everybody know that this health belts are there into market, right? Which monitors your health and everything. It is there since last 10 years now. Few years back, a guy started that if there is an innovation already available, but why I cannot use the same belt into animals? Right, because there is a huge population who is actually having, rearing these cattle and all. They need to know their health parameters regularly, so they can give them medicines, or maybe they identify when their the cow is pregnant or not, or what is the best time for, right? So how they will do it? So the same idea, invention was there done by somebody else, right? But invention was available. This guy found a way to innovate into it and create a product which is suitable for additional another market, and is solving the problem there, right? So innovation is means what? That creating a usable product. Thomas Alva Edison created a light bulb, right? Maybe, but then he was not an entrepreneur. Philips company became an entrepreneur. He found multiple ways to sell it to the people. So in this, which it can solve the problems of the people, right? So that is the main difference. And here we, all the startups, we always tell them, don't try to be an inventor, because inventors and researchers are not very great entrepreneurs by their nature, right? Researcher wants to create new and new things every day. The entrepreneur wants to create one good thing and sell it multiple times. That is a two different approach. In the and the same thing happens when we try to create an ecosystem with the whole research ecosystem around, because the idea and the point of view of the researcher is always to create new things or create new ideas. Market relevance is not his first priority, right? So innovators should be innovative in thinking that how can I solve this particular problem with whatever available is, technologies are there. Innovation can be, invention is one of the kind of innovation. Extension of a product, as I mentioned, duplication of the product. If something is successful, for example, we can take an example of Uber, right? Uber was very successful in US. Somebody duplicated it in India, and modified it for Indian purposes, and created an Ola. So that became also a big business, a scalable startup for from the duplication point of view. There is, of course, there is a synthesis, combination of multiple concepts and all. So there are multiple types of innovation. I'm not going into detail of that, but because we are trying to understand the ecosystem here, right? So as we just heard in the news, that India became third largest startup ecosystem in the world. And right now, this today's data is 188,000 startups are recognized by the government of India in DPIIT, and every 16th of January we are celebrating is a National Startup Day. So why we are doing that? Why government and everyone is trying to create an ecosystem? And what is an ecosystem? So here is the startup or innovation ecosystem in from the point of view of entrepreneurship, which is there into market right now, or which is there across the country or across the world, which is followed. There are multiple stakeholders of the ecosystem. As I mentioned, what is an ecosystem? Ecosystem is the place where, here what we can say, for example, my company name is AIC Anand Foundation, right? AIC stands for AU Incubation Center. So what is an incubation? Incubation is creating an environment, an ecosystem where a startup's reasons of failure will be reduced. And reducing reasons of failure is the main idea around creating this incubation or startup innovation ecosystem. So who are the main stakeholders of this ecosystem? From the point of view of faculties, of course, student and innovation, faculty and institution. For us, Agrifood, farmers are also one of the big stakeholders of the system. The base who is actually supporting it is the incubator and accelerators, government agencies, and investors. You will not find this kind of investor before 5-10 years. If you heard, investors are generally partners in that ecosystem. But in startup ecosystem, investors are who comes into your business not to take 1 rupee profit out of your business. They come that you reached multiple people and you create a lot of value. Your valuation is increased and they will get an exit out of it. Right? They are not here to come create and build a business for perpetuity. There is a total different approach from traditional entrepreneurs and in startup ecosystem. So what startup do? Startup finds a problem, try to find a solution for that to solving this problem, creates a prototype and go to market. It doesn't wait more. It doesn't wait for the perfection. It doesn't wait for to create 10 variants immediately. He goes to market, tests the product, and get feedback from the customer, and then improve the product. So in this whole process, this all ecosystem stakeholders supports him. How? If I take an example of a student innovator, right? So how a student innovator will get first the problem of it. So student innovator identified a problem somewhere. He went to the ecosystem players like faculty, institution, or incubators. That I have this problem. I am thinking this can be a solution. Of I want to create a business out of it. Can you help? Right, so they can connect them with the incubators, and then incubators can connect them for the funding, money requirement. Then he can create a product prototype, go to market with the help of existing industry players or market promotion agencies, or multiple their institution can also promote it. So this is the whole and soul ecosystem right now in the country and across the board, which is helping startups, which resulted into creating this, more than 2 lakh around startups in a short span of, maybe less than 10 years now, which is, this ecosystem is buzzing. So what we did, I just want to give you an example. Of course, there are multiple theories. I don't want to go into theories. I want to give you a practical example what we did as a AIC incubation center in the Anand Agriculture University. So our experience, what we did, we created a 360-degree approach for a startup success. How? As I mentioned, for removing all reasons of failure as much as possible. Of course, we cannot guarantee 100% success, but we can help them by reducing the reasons of failure. So what we did, as I mentioned, our incubation center was inaugurated by Honorable PM. We created first, for example, because our core specialization is food, right? Agri and food. So if anybody wants to start a food business, what happens that he has to set up a factory. So if he wants to start up, for example, I got an idea that I'll start a noodle factory, right? So once you start a noodle factory, you need 40-50 lakh rupees of investment in it, right? So when any entrepreneur comes into the line, does 40-50 lakh rupees of investment into his factory, and then he went to market and his product doesn't work. People don't like his product. What he will do? What are the options he has? He can maybe innovate and create some other products, try to reach it to the market, but he's not having good luck. The product fails. So the guy will fail for his life. The 40-50 lakh he took from the loan and bank and all, lot of this was the biggest reason of failure. So what we did as an incubation center here, that we identified 7 different areas which are biggest running areas of the food industry in country, and we created a pilot scale line. It is not lab scale, it's a pilot scale line where the capacity is 100 kg per hour of each machinery. So we created that you come to us, there is a fixed price, smaller price, and you create your product, go to market, and then test it. If it works, then start your factory. So first reasons of failure we reduce here. Then in the time, what at AU what we did, we open up all our laboratories for startups and entrepreneurs. So what we did, we created a fixed price throughout the university for all the tests and all the equipment uses, and we given it to the startup with the discounted rate. So they were from throughout the product validation and product development period, if they want to test anything, they can test. So here also we are reducing big reasons of failure. If I create a very good product in my factory, but I found out that there is shelf life is very low, what I'll do? So if I did that all in the start, it will reduce my reasons of failure. Then what is the biggest hurdle next is creating a and having a credible office space where I can invite, for example, I'm a food startup, I want to invite Reliance Mart official to my office for some deal. So what I'll do, I don't have office. If I take an office as a startup, 50,000 rupees a month I have to pay for all the expenses, and if I fail, then that is a big burden for me. So, and again, if I'm sitting in one corner in one complex, somebody comes, they don't find me credible, and I don't get that deal. So what we did, we created a co-working space where we allow, if we select you, if you are innovative, we allow you to set up your company here. Set up in the space. There is a very nominal charge, and we allow you to set up, so you don't have to lose your opportunities. You can invite your customers. There are meeting rooms which you can use. Then we created two different programs as incubation professionals. So we identified there are two big phases. The first phase is ideation phase, when a guy has an idea, he want some support, he want directions, that if this idea will work or not. If it will work, what I have to do, what are the steps I have to do. At a time, we have created this program called Pallav, where this 1 month long program. When we select someone, he comes to us. He stayed there for 1 month, hybrid mode, and he has meetings with sector experts in that, and they guide them if the idea works or not, and if it is going to work. Then we decide, to connect them with the particular mentors. We give them access to the facilities and all. If somebody already has created, a startup company having a product, then there is a different approach. We created a Prashun program where people can come, they can participate in our networking events. They get mentorship. Of course, they get access to funding through our channels, and we try to remove that particular issues for them. Of course, we are right now, we approach all the agencies possible in the state and center, to give them solve the biggest problem of funding. So right now we are a state center for RKI Raftar scheme of Government of India, where we give them a funding of up to 25 lakh rupees from different areas, and I think there are similar incubation centers throughout the country. So, for example, you have a student who has an idea. If you don't know how to get money, you can just connect them with the incubation center at your nearest available. This is a particularly Gujarat government scheme where we give up to 30 lakh rupees, and we give them a sustenance allowance for a 12 months period of 20,000. So he is not having the fear of losing the job and money. And if they want more, then we connect them with the investors. There is a very unique scheme for students in Gujarat. I think all other states will have similar kind of stream. If students come with an innovative idea, we give them support of up to 2.5 lakh rupees in that to convert that idea into POC. And if, for example, if a student startup fails in that also, there is no issue. You can come up with again with the next idea. Right? This is the approach government has taken with the creating the whole ecosystem. In Gujarat, for example, government has taken a target of supporting 10,000 students in the 5-year scheme period. It's a huge number. So the scale, the ecosystem development is happening as a very large scale. Top leadership is interested in it, and because this is the way forward. What else we did? We created a pool of mentors. So we created a pool of mentors, for example, mentors in business, mentors in food processing, agriculture scientists, finance expert, entrepreneurs, legal experts, and all. So whenever a startup or entrepreneur needs help, he get handholding at early stage, so he can it will be in safer hand with additional guidance, and his reasons of failures will be reduced. What we do regularly, we do sensitization event to create our pipeline. We created a partnership network where they want to test their product, they want to develop it, so they can approach this institution. Till now, we have supported more than 240 entrepreneurs. with the training and ecosystem provided. Out of them, more than 50 are women. We have funded more than 67 startups, through the reference schemes and the funding money we have. Around 6 crore rupees of fund, it has already been given to the multiple startups. There are multiple success stories which you can, check. For example, the Honeyveda, he's actually Shark Tank supported startup. There are multiple. I can take, example of each and every one, but once no, let me explain first the ecosystem, and then we'll. So these are one of the successful startup, Honeyveda and Alpino Peanut Butter. They got funding on Shark Tank, and their products are available. They are selling, turnover is in crores now. They both started at a very, very lower level at ideation or maybe little bit expansion stage with us, and we tried to help them. Of course, they had their own efforts and own luck, but they got successful right now. One of the success story I wanted to highlight is, how to, as I mentioned, how students or how one can start. As the starting point is identification of a problem, right? So how to find the problem which is worth solving, right? So I wanted to give this one example uh, because we don't have much time, but I'll take this example because it fits in all the parameters. So the founder of this company is a chartered accountant, right? So what he did, by nature, he is curious. He generally asks questions to people, and what he did is that he went to an agritourism place with his one of the partners in COVID time. And he was curious, and he asked. He found that there is one fish farmer who is doing aquaculture there. So he asked him curiously that how it works. He tried to understand how it works, and then he said that how you find the seeds for this fish, because nobody's selling fish seed in the market, right? So how will find that? So what he did, he tried to understand the whole uh, parameters that that which how it works. So he find that till now, if a farmer wants to buy fish feed, what he does, that there is one local broker nearby area. He gives him money, and this money he directly uh, the guy goes to multiple places and try to find that particular type of fish which he want to grow. So what happens is that if I want to have for a falana type of fish, the broker will go to multiple places, and whenever he find, he will give it. For example, I want to grow it in Anand. Maybe the broker which will find that the seed is available in, for example, 100 kilometer away into next place. So then he will buy it, and the transaction will be done offline. So he thought that why this situation is happening till in this days period or in time, why we are not using technology to solve the problem. So what he did, he was also not an expert for this. So he tried to find some ecosystem enablers. Somehow he got connected to with us. So we got in touch, and then he asked us, sir, we can create something out of it. I'm thinking of a platform. Will it work? I thought, why not? If you create a simple enough where a fish farmer can understand, it will work for sure. So what he did in multiple meetings and mentoring approach, what we did, we created an app where you just go online, your location will be identified immediately, and you will find that in 2 kilometers of area, this one guy is there who is selling this kind of fish seed. There is another guy in 5 kilometers. He is selling this particular type of fish feed. I just have to. There is a call button. I just have to call him. The call will be there via normal phone call. I'll call him and I'll take it from the. So for example, particular fees I was trying and I was finding from 100 kilometers away with a broker's approach with paying commission. I am now getting it immediately from a 2 kilometer away farmer. It was a very simple idea, right? It was not extraordinary innovation or invention, as I mentioned, but it was a very simple idea which was needed for the generation. Right now, it started in 2021 in COVID times. launched in the 22 mid. First 2 years there was no revenue. Even he was making losses, because how you will make money where one farmer is contacting another farmer and getting his fish seed. So how I'll get money, right? So here approach is different. If some other app or someone else will be there, he will ask that I'll take the. If I ask right now all of you, how you will make money in this startup? Can anybody answer? Okay. Okay, if there are no answers, let me let me explain also. So first idea always will be that starts a fee of application, right? Like start a subscription fees for this mobile app. So a farmer will pay 500 rupees and he will use the app. But the subscription concept doesn't work in India, as we all know. I think the 75 people are there here right now. If I ask how many of you have subscription of daily using app, I'll not find more than 2% of the population will having any kind of subscription, right? Nobody has YouTube subscription. There is a Netflix subscription which will be, I think, used by 5 members of one password, because we Indians don't pay, don't want to or don't like to pay. As a general audience, I'm saying, I'm not talking about any in person, but and especially farmers, which are users of this particular app. So the first idea was that create subscription fees that we totally said that it is not possible from our experience. So what we did, we waited for a year and or so, and in the second year end, we launched a marketplace, like Amazon for fish farmers. So if you need anything for fish farming, you can, yeah, you can, if anything is required for fish farming, you can get it in the same app. You want feed, get it. Medicine, get it. On equipment, there are more than, whatever 2 lakh pin codes are there. All pin codes is delivering to your location. You need fish medicine, fish equipment, whatever you need, you will get it. So first 2 years, zero revenue. Third year onwards, right now, the last year revenue was 4.5 crore rupees. So this is the startup. If any entrepreneur will be there, he will close down in 1 year. He will not be ready to lose his money, right? But here, because it's a startup, they are, if they grow, they success and they grow, the growth will be exponential. If you have seen the logo of any startup ecosystem, what you will have seen, you will see a rocket, right? So the rocket will be there. There are multiple success stories of the same startups, because I'm talking about him. I explained it. So he got awards. He got called by ministry for launching, because there was no innovation in the fisheries sector, and the guy doesn't know anything about fisheries, right? So the unique thing is that I'm running an Agrifood innovation center, and we have supported more than 200 odd startups, 240 something. Out of them, less than 10% are from Agri-food background. Right? This is a very surprising and unique data, that my biggest successful startups, for example, I said this Manja, there is a startup called Honeyveda. Honeyveda founder is an IT engineer. He is not having anything to related to honey in his whole, he hasn't learned one thing related to honey. But once he got interested, he found a problem, and then that interest spiked. If he has expertise in that, then he might not be an entrepreneur at that time. This is actually what my experience says. So it doesn't need that, if I'm running an agri-food system, I get an idea or a startup who is not doing agri-food, I'll still support him. But funding will not be there, because funding agency wants particular specialization, because fund is coming from particular ministry, right? But ideas can come from anywhere. It comes from anyone, and it can be, so how system works, as I mentioned, the what we did in the start, I'll take you to back for a slow time. That what we did, we created an infrastructure first for his product development, his product refinement, then his business launch, his business expansion. Then we created a mentor program which he can get mentors. Then we connect them with the funding requirements. So whatever money he need, we connect them with multiple agencies for that, and whatever mentors he need, we connect them. And then at expansion stage, his product is ready for a B2B segment or maybe expansion, we connect them with the industry players. So this is a whole ecosystem. And then when their products are ready, we arrange that they get visibility. They get visibility at exhibition which we organize. We participate in multiple exhibitions. For example, this is an example of last Pre-Vibrant Gujarat is a big event which we hosted in 2021 and 2023. Also, we were a part of Amul hosted it, and we were key co-host for that particular event. So what happens in this event is that they get opportunity to get connected with the names and people where the visibility can create us very extraordinary impact out of it. So we also for whenever somebody is visiting me at my incubation center, what we do, we always give them gift of our startups product. Right, we have whoever the biggest dignitary, maybe if minister is there, everybody is there, they will get the same kind of product. So whenever they want to use it, I have multiple cases where they reorder from the startups, so they get exemplify, and then expansion will be easier for them. So how to create it? So what I'll get back to it, because the main audience is here is faculties. So I'll go to that. How to create similar kind of ecosystem.
Sir, before you start a new topic, there is a question related to your previous topic that Dr. Yugal Kishore Mohanta has asked that, can you give us statistical data of different stages of success of startup made in Bharat out of 2 lakh startup?
Right. So we don't have exact data, because the data is managed by Ministry of Commerce and Trade. DCIIT manages the data, and they haven't released it yet. Because the data of 2 lakh startup is also issued by the ministry. So, but the general thumb rule is that you'll find that 10% of the startup will be there, will be reaching at a stage, expansion stage, where they have created extraordinary, like we have heard a term of unicorn. So 1%, the top tier of 1% will be that unicorns. Yes. Okay. Yes, Mr. Santosh has a question. I think that his incubation acceleration program is how effective. So effectiveness doesn't depend on the programs. What happens is how good the incubation center understand business. That will be the impact of. So for example, in RKVY also, which 24 centers are there in the country, every center has a different. So one of the center, for example, we are there, or maybe there is a center in Pusha Krishi. They are very successful because the ecosystem which they have created, which is helping people very good. Yes, what is Aspire Club? I'll come to that. Let me first answer Santoshi ji. So what happens is that the program structure will be, I think, somewhat similar in multiple places. But how effective it is, for example, one university has an incubation center. All they do is just have a training programs. Startup incubation is not a training program. First, understand that. They are not weak. They are coming for a shorter period of time. We are not giving them any degrees, and we are not creating any, giving any exams or to them. Here, what happens is startup comes with an idea. Incubation means you try to help that particular idea. I'm not here to take lectures on marketing and lectures on business model for 1 month, and one day I cannot explain him also, right? So what my idea will be that he should reach next stage. He should have some basic understanding. So what is the structure of my program? Again, everybody has different program. We have some incubation centers which are they are running 1 month training program. So every day startup will come, one faculty will come, and they will just explain it to the startup, and hoping that the startup will succeed. that doesn't work, right? So what worked in my incubation center, that we have a yes, what is an incubation center? Of course, I have to explain that first. Uh, I just explained it, but I'll just repeat it again. So incubation, for example, I'll just take simplest example. If we are making curd at home, right? What we do generally, we hit the milk, right, and we make sure that it comes to a appropriate temperature. Then we add the particular bacteria or additional dahi in it, and hope that we put it in one particular space, and next day we'll have this curd ready. What happened in that particular period? It's called an incubation. So what happened there? We created an environment where that particular kind of bacteria grown at a speed which was needed, right? So what happened is that in incubation center, what we do that only. We create an environment. How we'll create it? First, giving them infrastructure what they need. That is also possible with every institution. They have good infrastructure. If they want to divert it this way, it is very much possible. Then we create an environment where other entrepreneurs will be there. So in my particular program, there will be around 30-35 entrepreneurs of different stages from across the country will come here. I have more than 50 mentors. I ensure that in every incubation program, at least 10 of them will visit us, and at least 6 or 7 of them will stay here for one whole day. And they will have this, in general discussions. It is not that I just give you some theory and you make it. It doesn't work. So entrepreneurs are not very, super bright scholars. So if you just give them a theory, or you give them how to prepare a DPR, they will just prepare a DPR. It doesn't work like that. In our own approach, traditional mindset, we try to work on that way. We give them, so there is a 40-page detailed project report which you have to prepare. The guy who is student or early stage innovator will not be able to do it. What he will do, he will go to a consultant and pay them 10,000 rupees, 15,000 rupees, and he will create a report which nobody will understand, right? So it doesn't work. So what do? We identify that who are our cohort incubators. For example, I have 20 incubators. What are their basic needs? If there are general needs, for example, 5 people need marketing help, 5 people need product development help, 5 people need some other help. So we designed a capacity building workshop, 4-5 workshop specifically for that. Then all other days of the month, what they will do, they will stay here or at their place and work with the guidance of a mentor. Who is the mentor? Mentor is an industry specific person who has done some business. Mentors are not only faculty members. Of course, some need some technical help, then we connect them with the faculties and scientists. So if a guy needs help with product standardization, I'll go to them. But if guy needs business, how to do business, how to create a business model canvas, I'll not send him to any faculty members. I'll send him to a sector expert, which we have identified, and then they will work with them, identifying the full month that what should be the next phase of action. They create a plan that these are our milestone which we have to achieve. To do this, that it has to go to customers, identify, take their feedback, improve the product, and then launch. Again, startup is a very fast process, right? If you have many examples, for example, I will take a startup example. Right? We all heard Big Basket. We all heard of the name of the Big Basket, right? It's a mobile app where you can order food, right? So Tata's has purchased this mobile app startup in, I think, more than 2,000 odd crore rupees, right? Around 2,300 or something was the figure. So why you think, what is the reason why Tata has to purchase that app? Tata cannot create any mobile app? Of course, it's easy. They are managing whole countries, income tax and everything. Creating an app for, they have TCS. Creating an app is very easy for them. Why they purchase a running app? Why they have to acquire it? Maybe another answer will be that maybe getting customer base. Getting customer base for Tata is nothing, right? You put a name of Tata in anywhere, you'll find that everybody will trust and everybody will brand. So brand name was not good enough. So why? What is the reason that the company like Tata, instead of creating their own version of in-house app, they went to that particular startup and paid around 2,000, 2,300 crore rupees, right, to acquire the startups. Why? The reason is that if Tata wants to launch an app today, and for example, they want to launch a 10-minute delivery, how much time it will take, What Tata will do then, and he will call a meeting of all the heads of the department, right? And the sector heads, tell them that these are the ideas. What are your ideas or views on that? Then everybody will come up with a solution. Then they will create a committee, and then committee will find that if this is applicable or not. It will take 2 to 3 months to create it, everything, and then once they launch it, they have to make sure that it works. If it doesn't work in one remote location also, Tata name cannot uh, uh, digest that, because they have some reputation to follow, right? But for a big basket where five startup founders are sitting, they want to launch app with 10 minutes delivery. It's easy. One guy will decide they will launch tomorrow, then they will test it. If it works. If it doesn't work in some area, they will close it that particular area.
Yes, yes.
But Tata cannot do it. Right. Second, if Tatas want to hire this kind of people who has pure entrepreneurial mindset, where they can go? IIMs are not giving entrepreneurs. Any other institution in the world will not give you entrepreneurs, because entrepreneurs are people who are risk taking, who are thinking from a solution point, and having done some maybe failed somewhere, where you'll find. So they acquired a big basket, but they didn't fire all the teams. They told them, you have to work for us for so many, for example, for some years. Why? They want to retain that talent. So it will help them grow. So these are the multiple reasons to grow it. So let me take another. So incubation center in nutshell is a place which provides a safer environment or a ideal environment for startups to grow, by connecting them with the mentors, by connecting with them with money, by connecting them with production facilities, by connecting them with whatever the ecosystem players are there, whatever government ecosystem support is there, wherever they need. If they get it in one place, all the connection, it's a bridge. It's a bridge between multiple 360-degree ecosystem players, which I explained in the first slide. So who are the ecosystem? So a work of an incubation center is not to give them GAN. Incubation center works is find people who has particular GAN and connect them with the startup who needs it. Right? So it's a bridge. So it's not a training center. It's not a center where you'll just get grant money. Right? Many incubation centers in the world are there who are not giving any money. For example, Y Combinator, biggest incubation center or acceleration center is there, right? So there is a difference between incubation and acceleration also, that will take at a later stage maybe. But particular incubation is to create an environment. So you don't have to be a physical. Y Combinator, as I mentioned, the biggest accelerator of the world in Silicon Valley, doesn't have a location where people gathers, right? So that is the way. I'll take the next example. How you can use sort of leverage digital. Yes. So for all our startups, because our more than 50% of our startups are from food background, right? I have startups who are in EV, who are in AIML, who are in satellite based data. A lot of other startups are there. But because we had a strength in food processing, more than in every cohort, around 40-50% startup will be from food. So we have to connect them through digital platforms, right? So what we do, we have practical workshops. So what in the workshop, we hire an agency who will come here. First basic, that we create all the players, all social media accounts here in house. We don't just instruct them, go and create, and these are the way to create. We do it here in our incubation center. Then We call experts of all digital platforms. For example, the major players are there, Flipkart and Amazon. We make sure their products are listed if they are ready to supply. So some people will come with an idea, they are at a prototype stage, but if somebody is ready to supply, we'll try to help them at a particular stage by simplifying the problems. We are also tied up. For example, Amazon for Startup program, we were one of the enablers in the listed with them. So if a startup applies for an IT startup applies through us and we recommend him, Amazon Cloud will give them a particular amount, around $10,000 worth of credit for the launching their app. So these are all ecosystem players. We try to support and connect with each and every player, and of course we leverage all the players. Santoshi ji. Next question is that okay. Yes. No, we don't give ideas. So, yeah, Shanti ji is saying, asking that, you give or suggest ideas. We don't suggest ideas, but we identify a way out. How? I'll tell you in the this picture. So if somebody doesn't have, for example, for students, right? Whatever lectures you do, whatever sensitization you do, but if they don't have idea, what will happen? Nothing will happen. So first we have to make them receptive to the different ideas and problems of the world. So the Aspire Club, next question is Aspire Club, but I'll explain that. I'll just take next question. I'm reserving this idea question. I'll take the next question. Dr. Nidhi is asking, small project which says work with a certain project, they sell it for fair and anything. So ideas to develop entrepreneur mindset. How can we enhance and charge? Yes. So again, giving them small projects can work in the start, but if you want to create a healthier ecosystem where it will work, it will grow, they will create a business out of it, then it has to come from the ground. Let's be fair. We all are also having our preconceived notions. You are coming from some research background. I am coming from a business background. Somebody else is coming from. So what we think and what project ideas we'll think, it will roam around that only. You'll find from that only. And if that will work or no, it is your own opinion, and then you try to impose it on the students or some innovator. So we never try to do that. What we do, we give them tools so they will identify some problems and guidance that how it will work, and then there will be open brainstorming. So let me now, I think the Aspire Club question will also cover that. So Aspire Club is what? So what we did, in initial when I joined this institution, because we are a not-for-profit company established by the university and supported by Ministry of Agriculture. What we did multiple sensitization workshops for students. We go everywhere. I explain everything to the student, and they are very motivated. And if once I come out of the room, everybody will be thriving and all. And then I don't get any startup ideas. Then I thought, why it's not happening? I think that will be the case with every one of you. You might have arranged multiple workshops, multiple
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I completely agree.
Yes. So it doesn't work. Why it doesn't work? Because you are trying to push knowledge from the top down, and they are not receptive of it. So the habit, you cannot change it immediately, right? And what happens in multiple, so I stopped going to multiple institutions because what happened, they arrange a session, student don't know anything, they put 5 lectures, classes in one room, and once I enter in the room, they don't know anything what I'm going to discuss. There is nothing out of it. So that sensitization of students, I stopped doing. Why? Because I'm not getting anything out of it. You will find rarely, of course, I find 1 or 2 or 3 students who are doing something which is worth doing. That was the case. But then I find how to solve this problem. So my first idea was, because as we say that we have to create an environment, then how to create an environment is a very good word to talk, right? What will we do to create an environment? So what we did, If you send them directly to the incubation center and ask for the idea, incubation center will not have any idea, or the guy who is sitting there he'll give his own ideas which might not work, right? So what is the way out? As I mentioned, the starting point of any startup is a problem identification. So what I did, I created a few months back only, I created a small diary. So instead of giving any brochures or any goodies to the startups, what I did, I created a one small diary. It's a good publication, which I give them a small task, that as a human we are actually very good at identifying problems in others. I just came, you, and I think 95% of you have identified some of the problems are there in me, right? That is human nature. We just see something and we identify the problem. What we do next? We just gossip about it, right? That is also human nature. Nothing wrong about it. We just find problem and we try to gossip about it. So everybody identifies, or go across hundreds of problems in a day, and some problems might be worth solving, right? So how you will identify? So I give them a small diary where the same first question is that, if I have it here, I'll show it to you. So what we do, and then we ask them, whatever problem you identify, just write down. Nothing, you don't have to think about anything. Whatever problem, if multiple people are facing similar problem, just note it down, right? You note down the problem. If some ideas comes to you, that is in the second page. First page is problem that I observed. Second page will be ideas that sparked. So I just have to note down. The next question is that if I solve this problem, somebody will pay me money or no? The next question should be, if I solve this problem, somebody will pay me or not, right? And then what they have to do, just gather this. What is the Aspire Club? Then I created, with the help of our progressive authorities, I created a Aspire Club in each and every college. So what happens is, we create cells, we give responsibility to already overloaded faculties, which have thousands of other things to do, and then we tell them, okay, you create entrepreneurs. How they will create entrepreneurs? They don't know, right? So what we did, so I created Aspire Club. Of course, we had a Aspire Club coordinator as a faculty. The chairman of the club is the dean of this particular faculty, but they don't have actually everyday work. First few sessions only they have work. And what the Aspire Club has to do, they just have to identify a day in a month. For example, we identify startup Saturdays. So every first Saturday of the month will be a startup Saturday. What they will do, all students which are given these diaries, they will sit across in a room. Whoever is interested, I don't need whole classrooms. We have to identify people who are actually interested in doing something. Put your effort there, then you'll find some result, right? So they just sit around and discuss the problems they have identified. What is the discussion about? Is this problem worth solving or not? If somebody else is solving this problem somewhere, some university has done some research on it, some institution, or maybe in US somebody is solving it, as I taken the example of Ola and Uber, right? If somebody else is solved in US, or somebody else is solved in Europe, or maybe in some other part of our country somebody is solving, or maybe some farmer found a solution but it is not able to scale it, they just discuss that, right? And then once they discuss, there is a pure brainstorming session. In that, they invite alumni entrepreneurs from their institutions, whoever nearby is there, and it's a pure discussion. There is no stage, no flowers, no bouquets, nothing. There is one identified place in every college. They just sit around in Saturday, and everybody come with their diary and discuss. Of course, it's an early stage. I don't have thousands of successful examples, but this was the why I identify, because what is the process we have designed? Then find problems worth solving, right? Then discuss the problem in the group, brainstorm. So what I am doing here, I am trying to change their mindset of approaching a problem. So once they approach a problem, their mindset will be, what is the solution for it? How I can solve this particular problem? and I am trying to getting that habit into them throughout this small tool called this diary, right? So then, but if you just give them diary and they take one session, it will not happen. It should be a frequent process. So that's why startup Saturday. So every Saturday they will sit around, whatever they find that this is a mature enough idea, then they will send it to me as an incubation center. So this is an idea. Now you give your inputs on it, and then try to help them. Then we take some of the ideas in the incubation, we support them, and then we connect them with money and all. Yes, Dr. Sama, I think you have a question. Yeah.
Sir, students just don't have faith that this Aspire Club or the incubation center or the startup which they are thinking will be funded by the by anyone. And
Yes.
so in that way, they just don't, they skip that Saturday. If we
Yes.
get in that, that second Saturday is that fixed for the Aspire Club. They will not be coming to the college at all. So how can we develop
No.
that faith in them?
Yes, yes. So actually what happens, as I mentioned, the same issue was there, but again, funding approach, we all has to remove from our mind. So startup, so if I give you some example, if I take a percentage of the ratio which are funded by the government support system and supported or bootstrap by their own self, the success ratio of own bootstrap startups is very high, rather than the supported startup, right? Why? Because they put everything into it. When you get a grant, you will not put everything. You will just think as a research project. If it is finished, it finishes. If it doesn't finish, it will no problem, because it was not my money. That is the approach. But again, what we have to do is we have to find 20-30 people in thousands of the students. If you don't assign a day for it, you just have a day, and whoever is interested, he will get a leave from his particular lecture, or maybe he can approach, and then attach some prestige to it. As I mentioned, I created a club, and then we created a card for it. The first card is aspirant. He will pay 100 rupees, and he'll be aspirant member of this particular. So only that people will join. So once you have that 30-40 people in the institution who are at least discussing it, then you can have one success story in a week, that you can have some alumni entrepreneur who is doing something good, is saying his story, sharing with them. So that creates an ecosystem. So that should be everyday habit. And once you have 5-10 people, then that number will increase day by day. You understood? So, but once they are coming, there should be some prestige attached to it. That this guy is a member of it. This guy is, because what happens is that they will think is just an additional activity of the college, then they will not do it.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So something we have to do to create. So here what we did, that the same thing. Then once they see the examples of their, I have now 3 students who are actually having office in our campus. Right? One student 2 years back, he passed out. He's having a waste management unit, which we give them space. The guy got 10 lakh rupees of funding in this system, and then story got published everywhere. We created a big event out of it. So that created some momentum around it. But one off event will not do. So every month something should be there. Of course, why every month? I think every week should be there, but every month, why? Because we have a lot of work and it will not be possible. So once a few days you will see and you'll find some good people, then it will work on their own. This 7, I created an SOP. I'll share it with someone if he's interested. Just mail me. I'll share it with you guys. That what everybody has a role. There are 4 students secretary. One has a role to identify. If you might not be identified, he'll identify some of the other students who wants to do something else, something extra. Right? Then some motivational sessions will be there. So funding should not be the first priority. If somebody is coming only for funding, then it will not work. Of course, funding is required at students' rate, but some of the, for example, somebody is coming for a small innovation. He need 4,000-5,000 rupees. There is multiple budgets any institution will have, which can cover it. You don't give money directly to them if you don't have schemes, right? For us, there is a benefit that I have a scheme called SSIP in which I fund them, right? But again, this POC requirement, the once if an institution will see the success story, then there will be a fund allocated to it. So that it is not happened first, that first my university allocated a fund and then we created a company. It happened backward. We created something, because in entrepreneurship everything happens like that. If you are in a job, then you will think that, once I get the budget allocated and manpower allocated, then only I work. But the entrepreneurship mindset doesn't work that way. I don't have anything, but I want to create a company. I don't have anything, but I want to create. So I find ways to do it. Where I'll adapt that. Where I'll fit this guy. So I have 4-5 schemes. I fit anyone in any schemes. I don't invite applications based on schemes. We invite application for our program, then we choose, and then we'll go to then where we'll get funding, right? So this similar way. Yes, yes, Ms. Yogita, anybody can, if there is an idea, he can approach us, and we'll try to surely help him. Yes, for seed funding grants, as I mentioned, we are actually first for grants. We are a nodal institute for 4 different schemes. From 2.5 lakh rupees to 4 lakh rupees to startup, 5 lakh for ideation stage, up to 25 for any agri-food startup who is doing something extraordinary, and more than 40 lakh rupees for a startup in Gujarat-based startup which is doing some social impact work. We have a scheme for that. So we are nodal institution for that. We are tied up with, I think, more than 15 investors at different stage. There is an angel investor who invests for a small amount of money. There are VCs which we are venture capital firms which we are connected with. So we'll connect with them. We have regular investor days where we invite industry into participating, not just for giving lectures. We invite them to listen to our startups. We invite them to startup pitches. So from that, if they're interested, they get funded out of that particular agencies. Right? How to maintain records so they can get funded. Funding doesn't work on record basis, for example.
Yes.
But what you can do, as I mentioned, you can create the Aspire Club there and have a membership. Then if somebody is working on one idea, we have to note it, and then give the responsibility to student secretaries. They will do it happily. They just note it. If somebody is going out of that particular idea, if it is passing out, then idea should be there. Maybe some other batch person, next batch will. So in one of the big success story of IIM Ahmedabad, they have a cell which was started, I think, 5-10 years back. What they do is they created a company, a foundation kind of company, where every year, the last year or for particular semester, student will be there, will be buying and selling vegetable products into the market. Sale is running from more than 10 years, but every time the new batch of the student, the 6 months for the 6 months is their responsibility. So that gets, and there is no money, involved. They are just doing trading. They are just buying tomatoes from an area and going to the most posh area of the region of Ahmedabad and selling it. Right?
Yes, sir. Sir, I got your point. Right, sir. Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Sir,
Yes.
excuse me, sir. Can I just ask one question?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Good evening, sir. Sir, I wanted to say that we actually students in our college, like I have recently been in charge of this only incubation and innovation center. So what I was thinking about, like I'm very lucky to get this right away FDP and this topic also, thanks to the organizers. So I got in touch with you. Sir, what we are thinking, like we are from the biotech department. So what we are thinking is, like, if they can generate some kind of products and then they can sell in the market. So will it come under this project?
It can come. Actually,
but it should be their own idea, right, sir?
Yeah.
Yes,
So
sir. Yes.
it should be there, but because if we push it, it can be
I
a
got
small
your point,
enterprise.
sir. Yes. Then it will be really a burden for them also, because
Yes.
उनका startup नहीं रहेगा, right,
हाँ,
sir?
वो
I got your
आइडियाज
point.
उनसे आने चाहिए, फिर
Yeah,
आप
yeah.
उसको मोल्ड कर दो, है ना? मेरे पास
Yes,
ऐसे
sir.
बहुत स्टार्टअप्स आइडियाज हैं कि जो आए थे कुछ करने के लिए, फिर उसको
जी,
मैंने
sir.
पिवट करके समझा के या फिर उसको कस्टमर फीडबैक से या मेंटर अप्रोच से हमने उसको चेंज कर दिया. लेकिन फर्स्ट आइडेंटिफिकेशन ऑफ द पीपल हु वांट्स टू डू समथिंग, दैट इज इंपॉर्टेंट.
Sir, can we organize an ideathon for that and then screen them out?
Yes, that is also good idea. But in ideathon, try to give some, first do problem thon, first collect problems
Right,
from
sir.
multiple places. Just doing normal idea, then what will happen? They will just come with all
Right, sir.
local ideas which they have seen somewhere selling some food items or something. They will just come
Hmm.
up with that. But if you
Yes,
just
sir.
identify some of the area, then create a then a next phase should be. So there is very good example of, if want to, anybody wants to do, there is called startup weekend.
Okay,
What
sir.
startup weekend does, it was started by Google, then Techstar actually take over it. What they
Mm-hmm.
do, they actually have a 3 days event.
Right,
What
sir.
they sell tickets. Somebody who is idea maker, somebody who is a tech expert, some product development expert, and somebody who is investor. Then everybody comes and everybody just pitches for 1 minute, 60
Okay.
seconds, and then that one idea is pitched there, and he has 1 minute to pitch, and then he will hold his ideas board and stand inside, and then all other people will vote that which idea is if this idea was good or not. So everybody has 5 votes stickers in their hand. They will
Right.
give to 5 top ideas. In that
Hmm.
5 ideas, what they do, that in that particular 5 ideas, they will create teams. If anybody wants to uh, be part of the team, and if founder is agree, they can take part of the team. And then that particular day or two, they will create at least a PPT, or at least a MVP product there and there itself. It's a very
Right.
successful model, uh, approach created by Google, and even my first startup, if I say, it was started out of it. I was a business banker in top banks in UAE, and I wanted to start something. I participated in one of the event, and then it clicked, and then I took a risk of resigning in the job and then creating. Though I was whole my life I just evaluated businesses. I was a business banker, so my job is to evaluate a business and
Hmm.
all the parameters. Still, I was not able to take risk. So that was a platform which given me that that it is still possible, and we can take that risk. So the same model, you just Google it, startup
Yes,
weekend, you
sir.
will find it, and you
Yes,
can
sir.
just replicate it, right?
Sir, thank you so much for sharing such an amazing things. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Nidhi. Yes. Okay. What measures are taken to help startup scale from idea stage to market ready business? So here, approach is totally different. What we do is, whole approach is client based. If you have an idea, we don't tell the startup to create the final perfect product. We tell them to create an MVP, small, workable, or product which your client will understand, and then launch it. At least launch it with early adopters of 100 or 200 people. Get the feedback out of it, and then improve the product. If your product doesn't work, then give away at that particular time, and then improve and create another pivot product. Don't marry to your product. That is also you can marry, or you can focus on one area or one problem, but don't focus on one solution only. There are multiple approaches to solve a problem. That there might be a possibility that you have a good idea, it's a good solution, but market is not accepting it, right? So you don't, and again, you don't have time to go and approach, educate the consumer, and the consumer educate the market. We don't have money for it. We don't have. So for example, in food, if I take an example, uh, we just recently had millet year, right? Everybody has celebrated millet year, maybe participated in one. What will happen? What the food entrepreneurs will do? You will go to an exhibition of millet expo or any expo. What will happen? That you'll go to a stall. One guy is there, is selling a product made out of ragi. There are 40, 50 products, or maybe 10, 15 products are sitting there. I went to that particular stall. What he did, sir, ragi has this much of protein, this much of calcium, it's good for your health, it's good for this, and it's good for this. You will explain me everything about ragi, right? Then by his explanation, I'll be impressed, and I'll buy one product out of this 40 products. I bought, for example, there was a ragi noodle, ragi puri, ragi this, ragi that, ragi pasta, everything was there. I bought ragi pasta. I went to home, I tested it, I didn't like it. So what will happen? I'll buy any other product of him.
No.
But because I can create 15 products, I'll create it and try to sell it. I'm sure that they are not my best products. Still, I am trying to push it in the market. So what I did, I first wasted my effort of creating 15 products. Then I wasted my opportunity of standing in the expo and explaining everything about Ragi. Why am I explaining Ragi? I am not owner of Ragi. Ragi is not my brand. Ragi is just an ingredient. So why I am trying to explain everything about Ragi? If, for example, I was very much impressed with the Ragi, I'll buy Ragi from everywhere. I'll not come to you. So your efforts are totally wasted. And then you will think, sir, I created 15 good innovative product, but nobody wants it. Of course, because market don't accept it. Why you want to create it? Create one product, okay, which is best fit. To arrive at one product, you can create 5-10 different versions of that, which is acceptable into market. But then you have to be focus on one superhero product. Once that product gets successful, you take example of any successful product in the world. Nobody is selling based on ingredient. Bonvita told this, आज तक Bonvita ने बोला कि वो क्या डालता है उसके अंदर, तो आप क्यों बोल रहे हो? वो ये बोलता कि इसके अंदर प्रोटीन है, because that is the benefit to the consumer. What general entrepreneur does, they just try to explain features of the ingredients. Ingredients are, I'm selling, for example, of moringa. Then I'll explain everything about moringa. I create 10 products out of moringa. I create a moringa chocolate. But why you create a moringa chocolate? If I want to, why I want to buy chocolate? To get the taste of the chocolate. I'm not buying to be healthy, right? So if I'm not getting taste of chocolate, and I'm not going to buy your moringa chocolate. I might buy one time in the exhibition, but it will not create a recurring business. So these are some fundamental differences between, again, as I said, researcher and entrepreneur mindset to the startup mindset. Startup wants to create solve one big problem. You will find in your city, one best samosa wala is also crorepati. And one guy who is making 10, 15, 20 items of average, he will just have one store and he will just keep doing it. Right? So again, here the issue is, we don't want to create multiple products. We want to create, if once you are successful, once you are Hindustan Unilever, you can sell thousands of products. Once you are Amul, you can start selling Panchamrut also. But if you are not Amul and you launch Panchamrut in the market, it will not work. Right? So that is the difference. So the researcher will, if he is working for Amul, he will try to create multiple variants of it. But you don't have to do it. That is the differentiation. This is the entrepreneurial mindset of startups, which we have to create. Yes. So these are the ways. I'll just quickly explain you what to do. How much time I have, Dr. Sama?
2 minutes more, sir.
Yeah. So I'll just quickly explain you what Aspire Club does. As I already explained, you have to create startup Saturdays, environment where it will be successful in your region. Mentor can be a biggest catalyst and enablers of the system. You just have to mentor and guide students to generate ideas. How? By identifying problems, nothing else. In your research projects, you give multiple research projects to your students, right? Many faculties. Always try to think that, this particular project I am giving, it has something commercial point of view. Of course, you will have some extraordinary, maybe Einstein kind of students. Then for them, you can keep the top deep tech research projects. But for everyone else, try to create something which has some commercial, point of view, or maybe the research to market is possible in that. So if maybe somebody else will recreate it or explain it, and maybe some startup will come and take up that idea, and try to connect them with industry and alumni, not just for lectures, but for discussions and one-on-one meetings. Diary already explained. This is a program which actually I have developed for faculties. We completed one cohort last year, going to complete next cohort this year. So where 7 days, all the faculties will come and they will try to create a business here. from problem to final product to launch. So 7 days, 7 tasks, full day, Sunday also working. So we last time we created a very successful program in partnership with NIAM. This year we are going to do in November. If anybody is interested, they can contact the website. I'll not take into deep now. These are, as I mentioned, some of the success stories, startups on Shark Tank and all. This is so. With this, I'm. If there are one or two questions, I'll take it and then I will close the session. Right. Uh, I think I have some ideas to innovate NCR textbook. It's an easy way. Can it be called? Yes, it can be called entrepreneurship if we are selling the textbook. If you are just advising NCRT to include that particular things in their book, then you'll just get credit of it. You'll not get money out of it. So entrepreneurs, the focus should be money, right? If I'm not getting anything out of, so see, there are some social entrepreneurship concept, of course, is there. But if you don't have any money, what you'll do for the benefit of the society? You need money for that. So the Gujarati concept says first create, first make wealth, and then distribute it. But if nobody is creating wealth and thinks that everybody will distribute it, then it will not happen, right? So if you have an idea of textbook, maybe you can create supplements of it, or maybe convince NCRT or any maybe schools to adapt it for their uh, additional book. Then you might be be an entrepreneur, right? Okay. Thank you very much. If there are no further questions, I'll just wrap up here.
Thank you so much, sir. I think so. Your session was so very nice that everyone asked the question, and there are many more that the faculties want to ask the question, because it's the innovation and the startup which
Yes.
we are lacking at our colleges or the universities. So, sir, your presentation offered a clear roadmap of how innovation, startups, and entrepreneurial ecosystems are shaping the future. You explained in the depth of importance of self-employment, entrepreneurship, and startup culture as important drivers of development, youth empowerment, and sustainable economic growth. You further highlighted the need of agritech ventures, incubation support, financial access, and global mentorship networks, which together can transform these innovation-driven sectors into a vibrant move. You emphasize the importance of global mentorship networks and technology-driven solutions as essential pillars for strengthening this sector. Your insights into building sustainable ventures and nurturing an entrepreneurial mindset among youth were especially motivating for our participants. And you shared the success stories of Haniveda, Alpino Theology, and case study of Manja Technologies, which cleared us very much the idea of startups. Through your vision and experience, Soniti has explained, not only shown us how to build a future-ready agri-food ecosystem, but has also inspired our participants to actively contribute by creating opportunities for themselves as well as for others. We sincerely thank you, sir, for sharing your expertise and for motivating our participants to embrace innovation, self-reliance, and entrepreneurship. Your session has truly been and enlightening and empowering to all the faculties. Thank you so much, sir,
Thank
from
you.
the core of my heart, as well as on behalf of Swami Shri Swarupanand Saraswati Mahavidyalaya and ATAL FDP team. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Soma and Dr. Rupali. Thank you. Good.
Thank you so much, sir. Welcome, Chandra ma'am. How are you doing, ma'am? Ma'am, please unmute yourself. Your voice is not coming, ma'am. Please unmute yourself. Thank you, Nidhi ma'am, for joining with us. So if you have any other questions, you can write it up in the chat box. We will share with the sir.
Hello, am I audible now?
Yes, now you are audible, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Yeah, I have connected my earphone because the other volume is not, I think I didn't got in my phone.
Okay, okay. If you want, we can run your PPT, ma'am.
Well, yes, that's fine, or else I can do it. Yeah, you
can
better,
do it.
yeah. No, no,
You can do
please, yeah, you share it. You share it. I also have my one as well.
Okay, okay. Let
You
me
share it, please.
Rupali ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So that we can share it for you.
Yes,
Please.
ma'am. Please,
That's
please
good.
send it to me.
That's good. Yeah.
Hi, Dr. Chandra. This is Prakash Alami.
Hi, hello.
Forward it to you. And
Hi,
WhatsApp.
Fine.
Professor.
How are you?
I know you as Professor Prakash.
Yes, Prakash
Yes, yes, yes,
from
yes,
Hi.
Agrifood. Ma'am.
Yeah, he's my good friend. A long time. More than 15 years, I suppose.
Oh,
yes, yes, exactly.
So how are you? How was your US trip and all? Fine?
Yeah, it was wonderful.
I was continuously watching you in the Facebook.
the Facebook. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Not
know
many
you.
followers to be actually.
Uh-huh. I was
So
congratulating.
Nice to see you for this faculty development program.
Thank you. My pleasure. Of course, I should thank you all for, remembering me. Of course,
Yeah,
Deshmukh sir.
especially Dr. Shama madam, we should
That's
thank her
right.
no,
That's
sir.
right.
for
Thanks to you
connecting us.
both that you have joined us.
First of all, I should thank Dr. Deshmukh sir who introduced me to Dr.
Yes,
Shama.
Dr. Deshmukh sir, who has
Exactly.
given us such a nice platform to meet with all of us.
That's
And
right. That's right.
yes. So
That's
good
right.
evening once again to all the participants and our guests. And a brief introduction of today's second speaker. She was the first speaker, but she asked me to change the time. So one of my friend, very nice friend, we met at Bharatidasan University. In every walk with nature, one receives far more than he seeks, said John Moore. And our honored guest today has truly embodied this spirit throughout her distinguished academic journey. I am delighted to introduce Professor Mrs. MRJC Chandrakantha Mahendranathan, an eminent academician, researcher, and mentor who currently serves as professor in the Department of Botany at Eastern University, Sri Lanka. With a long-standing career in higher education, she has dedicated her life to advancing the frontiers of plant sciences, biodiversity, and ecological conservation. Professor Mahendranathan has guided numerous students, nurturing them into successful researchers and professionals, while also contributing significantly to curriculum innovation and academic governance. Her expertise lies in plant biodiversity, conservation biology, and sustainable ecological practices, where her work has been widely recognized. She has presented her research at several national and international conferences and workshops, building academic collaborations and sharing her knowledge with peers across borders. Her presence in such forums reflects the international recognition she has earned for her scholarship. Professor Mahendranathan has also been deeply engaged in research and publications, presenting her findings in reputed journals as well as in national and her research is particularly significant in the context of plant biodiversity and conservations in South Asia, contributing to sustainable practices and environmental awareness. What makes her contribution especially inspiring is not only her excellence in research, but also her commitment to mentorship and institution building. She is admired for her dedication, humility, and for instilling in her students a deep respect for nature and sustainability. Alongside her academic responsibility, she has held important positions in academic governance and institutional development at Eastern University. Her leadership has contributed towards curriculum innovation, research collaborations, and capacity building initiatives that have benefited not only our institution but also the broader academic community in Sri Lanka and beyond. Her international engagements are equally remarkable. He has been invited as a resource person and speaker in several international conferences, symposia, and workshops where he has shared her expertise and built strong academic linkages. Her presence reflects the growing recognition of Sri Lanka's contribution to the global scientific community. And as Albert Einstein beautifully remarked, look deep into nature and then you will understand everything better. This thought perfectly resonates with the essence of Professor Mahendranathan's work and the knowledge she shares with us today. Today, we are truly privileged to welcome Professor Chandrakantha as a distinguished resource person. On behalf of organizing committee, I extend a warm welcome to her and invite her to deliver her lecture, which I am certain will enlighten and inspire all of us. The topic is innovations in food processing and quality assurance. Welcome, ma'am, and the stage is all yours.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sharma, ma'am. Thank you so much for such a very lengthy introduction about me.
Very
I'm
short, ma'am.
really thankful, really thankful.
Very
I'm not
singing.
sure whether I'm deserving it, of course. Thank you from your words. It's nice to hear that since you being my roommate in Bharatasan University
Yes.
and my friend who treated me with very good chapatis and all. Thank you, Dr. Sharma, ma'am, for this.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, my dear all Indian friends, and thank you, the organizers of this institution. I'm not good enough to pronounce your name, Swami Sri Swami
Satyanand Saraswati Mahavidyalaya.
Saraswati Mahavidyalaya. Thank you so much for the organizers, the coordinators, and my colleagues, my friends, of course, in India, for inviting me again. It's rather I would have been happy if it's a physical one. No matter, at least this opportunity I have got to join to you again and see you all again at this conference. And yes, as you introduced. I have been there in my career for last 27 years as an academic in Department of Botany, Eastern University, Sri Lanka. Of course, last 10 years I have been working with the post-harvest technology, particularly the plants and diseases to secure the food, to assure the food security. So on that aspect, I'm going to talk on my uh, allocated topic today here. So I'm not pretty sure whether I'm not an entrepreneur at all, like the eminent speakers who have been there in your faculty development program. Yet I will try as an academia, I will try my level best to talk whatever I'm trying to talk and make you, well, not inspired exactly, at least to hear something from my end, which is going to be benefited for you, for your not only your career, for your future educational programs. So by these few words, let me start my talk here. So I'm really thankful to talk about the innovations in food processing and quality. Since I'm in the post-harvest technology field, I think I'm also okay to talk about this field. Sorry, not about much of the innovations because there are lots and lots of innovations. So with this limited time, let me find some of the important innovations in the food processing and to move forward with this given task. Thank you. So, can you please share the slides, Dr. Sharma, ma'am, because I can't share from here. I'm,
Yes.
yeah.
Next slide, ma'am. Rupali, ma'am.
Yeah, please, the next slide. Yeah, yeah. So now before talking about the innovation, let me talk about because it's a very wonderful program. I forgot to tell you at the beginning. It has been named as the faculty development program, but of course, uh, through this theme, faculty development program, you all are talking about the agriculture, food security, and innovative technologies in the agriculture and the towards the food security. But I'm really happy of this faculty development program under this theme because I'm really inspired. I mean, inspired of your program, not only for the faculty development program for this particular theme, because I'm also touching according to my field in the same field, my doing my research and all. So let me talk about the food security first. Why we are having now under your faculty development program why you have chosen this particular area, agriculture based food security or the innovations in the food or whatever the food industry based because of the food security, I would say here, because that is rather important. Why it is important? Because food is available in the country, it is accessible to the people physically and financially. And we have to make sure people are healthy to absorb it, and food supplies, the prices are stable over the period, and it is nutritious enough to sustain the human body. So this food security is the basis why we all are talking now about the whatever the innovations, whatever the industrial basis things in the food industry or the agriculture industry. So let me give you a small background about why we are talking about this always the food technology or the food innovations and food industry or the agriculture based things. Because according to FAO, Food and Agriculture Organization in 1996, food security is defined as when all people, all time, have physical and economic access, not only physical, economic access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food that meet their dietary needs and food preference for an active and healthy life. Please move the next slide, Dr. Sharma, ma'am. So, according to the 11th Global Security Index in 2022, the world's food environment has worsened for the third year in a row, engaging the food security. That is, different nations are vulnerable to shock due to the environmental and climate challenges, which have caused global food security to slow down. Also, the food availability and sustainability are suffered and weakened too because of reduction in trade freedom, increase in the food inflation, and decreasing the financing for food safety. Next slide, please. So, in this background, again, the Committee on Public Account, COPA, disclosed that about 270,000 metric tons of vegetables and fruits are being wasted annually. We are talking about the innovations in the food industry. At the same time, we can see here the shocking news is, the alarming news is how much the food is waste right after the harvest or at the level of the consumer level. About 73% of the adult population of the country do not consume adequate amount of vegetables and fruits. The malnutritional level of children below the age of 5 is also around 21,000, which is a really sad news actually with regard to in terms of the food security. Next slide, please. So if you look at in this slide actually, in one side, the poverty and the inadequate food supply, where the malnutrition of the children. In the other side, overproduction and market competition. So this is what the mismatching. This is where we are all talking about, of course, these technologies, all the innovations also rather important to balance this level. This is a pathetic situation where the one side of the world is suffering with the poverty and the malnutrition of the children. So it's really sad, it's really pathetic. And in the other side, where it's a competition for the market. So this is the background, what I just want to focus to you, why we need these innovations, why we have to focus these innovative food technologies or industrial technologies, agriculture technologies to slow down, also to slow down this loss in the food and whatever the post-harvest products of the food and things like that, to balance this food security in the global level, not only the our Asian level or in our country or whatever it is. Of course, it's rather important in the country as well, but in the global level as well. So next slide, please. So if you look at here, recognize the key role of plants in public health. The United Nations declared the year 2020 to be the International Year of the Plant Health. It is estimated that the food production will need to be increased by 60% in 2050, by 60% in 2050 to feed the estimated 10 billion people expected on the earth. So the plant diseases and pests influence the availability and the safety of plants and human and animal consumption, and thus it is reducing the crop yield and determinantly affect the quality. Of course, the quantity as well. Next slide, please. So the food technology, now let's come to the food technology. So this is the background where we have to work towards enough technologies, enough innovations towards to increase our food production and to reduce the loss of the food as well, what we produce. So the food technology play a major role, and food innovations, of course, innovative technology play a major vital role, which has witnessed the remarkable progress in response to the evolving global landscape, driving the imperative to meet the changing demands and ensure the food security. Also, the recent advances encompasses a spectrum of technologies from high pressure processing and smart packaging to biotechnological applications and the integration of the AI and ML, that is machine learning, and of course the AI in the food system. So this is where we are now. Your faculty development program is absolutely amazing to focus this area in this era actually. So please next slide. So this transformation underscores the pivotal role of the scientific and technological innovations in enhancing the food production quality and diversity, thereby improving the access to high quality and the nutritious food. That is rather important. Next slide, please. So the urgent need for the innovations in food system, the very urgent need for the innovations in food system is very rather important, because our global food system faces unprecedented challenges. That is, by 2050, food demand is projected to rise by 60%, set against a backdrop of escalating climate change and dwindling resources. This is another serious scenario. So the global demand as well as the climate and the resource scarcity. These are the two mismatching areas where we have to focus on the agriculture-based innovative technology and food technologies also. Next slide, please. So these are some of the challenges in food processing, what we have identified and what you have been talking these days through your faculty development program. So all these challenges, I don't need to, I think, read out each and every challenges here. So, so there are enough challenges in the food processing, in the food security, in minimizing the loss of food, and every area there are enough challenges where scientists have to focus and move forward through the innovation. Next slide, please. So the food sector still faces significant challenges related to the quality of the foods actually caused by several biological factors. The persistent contamination of food materials by toxigenic fungi and subsequent production of toxic secondary metabolites, what we call the mycotoxins, another concern to the food security. Next slide, please. So as long as the mycotoxins are concerned, it's not only cause economical damages, but also lead to serious adverse health effects. So given a wide array of processing practices and emerging issues in the food chain, the food industry is committed to provide consumers with high quality and safer food. So with this background, let me move for the next slide, please. The need for the innovation, what you all are exactly talking now. So in this context, the globalization and the increasing demand for food safety and convenience, food technology plays an important role in addressing industry challenges. The evolution of food technology parallels agriculture achievements from ancient farming techniques to modern digital technologies. But the professor, I think, gentleman has been talking yesterday very nicely about the digital technologies in the agriculture. So that optimize the food production processes. Technical developments have led to the industry to apply environmentally friendly and non-destructive methods that help to achieve the products with high quality standards. So in this angle, if I come and pick up some, next slide, please, ma'am. So like, if I pick up some of the innovative technologies through the food processing, so the very innovative, next slide, please, ma'am. So the high pressure processing is very very much accepted food processing innovative technology. I don't need to, I think, to elaborate about the technology, let me talk about the benefits of the HPP, that is high pressure processing. So as I have shown here, it enhances the food safety. That is very important. It enhances the safety of the ensure the food safety and extend the shelf life. This is what I'm working on. My researchers are how to extend the shelf life of the harvested produces, particularly the fruits and vegetables. Then enhances the clean labels and reduce the food waste. What is important again? So maintain taste, texture, and nutritional values of the food and protects brand reputation. So these are the very important aspects of the benefits of the HPP in the innovative technologies. So next one, please. Next slide, please. So another important technology what I have picked up here, the ultrasound processing in the food packaging and the food processing. So this is again, it has a lots of benefits in the food processing level, which is an absolutely amazing innovative technology, ultrasound processing. So the next one is the ultraviolet radiation. Please, next slide. Ultraviolet radiation again, that is the UV radiation is mainly applied in the sanitization. Next slide, please, ma'am. Sanitization of foods, providing a cost-effective alternative to heat pasteurization technologies. So there are these innovative, these technologies are, say for example, this ultraviolet technology is rather important to make sure the nutritional values of the food that we eat, because that is ultraviolet radiation is just where we minimize that is simply talking, we avoid the pasteurization technologies which is related to the high heat levels and all. So this is it's innovative idea in terms of the serving the nutritional values of the food. So cold plasma processing, next slide please. This is another important area in the innovative technology in the food process, that is cold plasma is widely used for the improvement of the physiological characteristics and of carbohydrates and the proteins and the interaction inactivation of the microorganisms. This is very important in terms of the diseases, in terms of the spoilage of the food. This cold plasma processing is another innovative technology which is make sure the physiological characteristics of the carbohydrates and the proteins at the consuming level, and also very importantly, it's minimizing the diseases and the microbial spoilage. This technology permits quick decontamination of food products at ambient temperature. Of course, in the room temperature, we can minimize the spoilage of the food and pressure settings by avoiding precipitate changes in food quality and huge cost. But of course, it's costly compared to the some other innovative technology, but it is the advantage is spoilage is reduced by this technology. The next slide, please. So this is some of the diagrams showing the technologies, ultraviolet technologies, how it is being applied. So this is much technological, which I don't want to touch. It might cause you a little boring. So please go to the next slide. So this is another technique, the novel thermal technologies, which is related with the heat again. So here, the very important technologies being used is the radio frequency heating, that is RF, radio frequency heating, or the Dielectric heating is a thermal process wherein the RF generator creates a high frequency radio wave or altering the electric field to heat a dielectric material. So with that, it's almost like a applicable like microwave heating, which is again we can make sure of the nutritional values of the food, and also we can make sure of the eradicating the spoilage microorganisms from the food material. So the next slide, please. So this is, you all know, very simple technology, but it's an innovative one, the microwave heating in the food products, because here we can see that it is being used in the domestic and industrial operation for drying of foods. Well, it has many purposes, of course. Not only just it is the food processing, it has many important aspects. Particularly, we just keep the food value or the nutritional value as it is and also we are assuring the spoilage, minimize spoilage through the microorganisms. So the next slide, please. Infrared IR heating. In IR heating, this IR heating has been successfully employed to inactive this is actually dealing with the enzymes here. So these enzymes, the lipase, amylase, and other enzymes responsible for the development of all flavors and deteriorations of fruits and vegetables. So this is very important, because when at the consumer level or when it is exported, so the one is external appearance, we look at the fruits and vegetables, and also the flavor what we get, of course. So these two are very important at the market level, of course, to consume as well. So the IR heating, of course, helping us, this innovative technology dealing with the enzymes, and it is responsible for stopping these off flavors from the fruit and the deterioration of the fruits and vegetables. Additionally, it is effective to inactive the bacteria, spores, yeast, and mold in the both liquid and solid form. It's very important. So it's trying, they are to stop the spoilage through the microorganisms as well. So this is please the next slide. This is some schematic chart that I'm showing through the food science and technologies, how this food safety and biosecurity and the processing with the innovative technologies are there. Some of the innovative technologies I have mentioned. So this is the whole area that I am talking now in terms of the processing as well as the food safety and biosecurity. Next slide, please. So let's move here. Another very, very innovative, very absolutely amazing technology is the nanotechnology in the food processing. So the nanotechnology in food packaging and food preservation is very absolutely amazing in this food industry. So this is edible thin film. One aspect is in the nanotechnology, edible thin film packaging. That is, the use of edible thin film on the packages can delay the food deterioration by increasing the shelf life and enhancing the quality. This is rather important. Always we talk about the increasing the shelf life of the harvested produce, particularly the fruits and vegetables. Even the flowers, it can be the flowers also when we export. Of course, India is exporting flowers. So deterioration, post-harvest deterioration, minimizing the post-harvest deterioration and extending the shelf life is rather important in terms of the food security. So this is again that edible thin film can be used in extended applications, for example, to protect fruits, vegetables, meats, chocolates, then any kinds of things. Here the edible thin, not only the fruits and vegetables. So all these fruit products could be processed through this nanotechnology, edible thin film packaging. So these film act as an active packaging and increase barrier protection by preventing the gas exchange, actually, gases such as oxygen and ethylene from damaging the food content and preserving the appearance of the product as well. So it is very important then when we are talking about the deterioration after harvest. So the gaseous exchanges, particularly the oxygen and ethylene, is playing a major role, as you all know, in the deterioration process. So the bringing down the quality of the external appearance of the fruits and vegetables, so the harvested product. So this edible thin filming is playing a vital role in this aspect. Next slide, please. So the nano encapsulation. Here, if you look at here, this is another nanotechnology based innovative technology in the food process. So this is actually this innovative technology provides several benefits in the food industry, such as here I have listed that it is easy to handling, enhancing the stability, protecting against the oxidation, of course, very important, where the external appearance we keep as it is at the harvesting level. So retention of volatile ingredients, then moisture triggered control release, then pH triggered control release, and change in the flavor character. So this is again a wonderful technology, the nano encapsulation in the through the nanotechnology. Then nano emulsion. So next slide, please. Nano emulsion is another nanotechnology based innovative technology in the food process, where you can see here how the food is packed through the nano emulsion. So the nano emulsions are used to produce food products for, say, salad dressing, flavored oils, then sweeteners, personalized beverages, then other processed foods. They help in increasing the different flavors with the help of several stimulations in the form of heat, pH, ultrasonic waves, and so forth. So this is actually very, again, as I mentioned earlier, not only the external, maintaining the external appearances, also the maintaining the flavors of the food produced as it is, or enhancing the flavors. So they retain the flavors efficiently and prevent them from the oxidation and enzymatic reactions, because these oxidation and enzymatic reactions are the major important two of the important aspects, where the external appearance of the food produce, or the packet, or the preserved food, or the processed food, or the harvested food produce are losing their appearance. So this nano emulsion is playing a very important role in this, not only the flavor, the enhancing the flavor as also the external appearance. Then the nano sensors. Next slide, please. So the nanosensors. The nanosensors help in detecting any sort of change in the color of the food, and it helps in the detection of any gases being produced due to spoilage. So this is very important aspect again. So the nanosensors is another important technology. It is detecting. It is just alarming. It is detecting any kind of changes in the color of the food, and it helps to detecting any gases being produced due to the spoilage. So we can fastly react according to these sensors, where we can try to stop the changes in the colors or the spoilage. So the sensors are usually sensitive towards the gases such as hydrogen sulfide, nitrogen oxide, etc., etc. And so these are again the gaseous exchanges which bring down the quality of the processed food or the food. So they are a device comprising an electronic data processing part and sensing the part that is able to detect any change in light, heat, humidity, gas, and chemicals into electrical signals. So this is how the technology is working in the nanosensors. So through which we can simply immediately identify the changes in the food or the fruits or the vegetables or the processed food. Next slide, please. So this is the nanomaterials based sensors for detection of food contaminants. Also, the food contaminants also could be detected through these technologies. Contaminant in the sense any microbiological contaminations also. So where we can act immediately to towards the extending the shelf life without any damages in the processed food or harvested produces, particularly the fruits and vegetables. Next slide, please. So the application of nanotechnology in food packaging. So nanotechnology is the science. It's very small material that has a big impact in the food industry, including the packaging. So a variety of nanomaterials such as silver nanoparticles. You all know the nanoparticles. Here is like in the other field also is being used for this technology. So it is enabled food packaging can generally be divided into three main categories. It is based on the nanotechnology enabled packaging. It could be divided into three categories. That is, one is the improved, next slide please. One is the improved packaging, That is, the nanomaterials are mixed into the polymer matrix to improve the gas barrier properties as well as the temperature and humidity resistance of the packaging, which is very important, two aspects in the packaging scenario. Then the use of nano composite in contact with the food is approved by the United States Food and Drug Administration. That is, it has been now approved, this packaging, that nano technology based packaging everywhere. So the second one is active packaging. Go to the active packaging. It is still illustrated by the use of nanomaterial to interact directly with the food or the environment to allow better protection of the product. So this is towards the spoilage. It is giving a protection to the product or the food material to minimize the spoilage as well as to extend the shelf life. For example, silver nanoparticles and silver coatings can provide antimicrobial property. This is very important. It is giving the antimicrobial property, with other materials being used as the oxygen or UV scavengers. So this is very important, rather important, this active packaging is, because where we can minimize the the spoilage while the packaging or towards the extension of the shelf life. Next slide, please. So the third one is the smart packaging or the intelligent packaging. So the nanotechnology based. So for example, the food detecting specific pathogens developing in the food or specific gases from food spoiling. Again, this is also towards food spoilage. It detecting the pathogens when it is contaminated to the food produce, which is packed or which is being packed. So this is wonderful technology, because unless otherwise the food produce or the fruits or the vegetables, it's starting to spoil, we are unable to detect the pathogen if it's contaminated. But here in the smart packaging, using this nanotechnology, it detects once the pathogen is contaminated in the food product. Some smart packaging has also been developed to be used as a tracking device for food safety or to avoid the counterfeit. So this is very important again, because it has the sensors to detect and tell us now the contamination is there, or any other the spoilage gaseous exchanges are there. So then immediately we can act on that. We don't need to wait until we see the symptoms of the food spoilage. So currently Nestle, British Airways and many other supermarkets are used these chemical sensors, which can easily detect the color changes as well. So this has been used widely now, this smart packaging through the nanotechnology. So these are the three areas what I have explained. Next slide, please. So three areas what I have explained: the improved packaging, active packaging, intelligent packaging. So if you look at here, so incorporate the first one, improved packaging, incorporation of nanomaterials to achieve the gas barriers, temperature resistance, humidity, etc. Then if you look at the active packaging, it's incorporation of nanomaterial. Incorporation of nanomaterial to achieve the inactivation of the pathogens, expanding the shelf life, increasing the food safety. In the third category, that is intelligent packaging, so the incorporation of nanomaterial is there to achieve the recognition of the spoilage, recognition of the pathogen, monitoring the food quality. So these three areas are the one where we are always talking about the food security or food preservation or food packaging, etc., etc. So if these three aspects are there, straightforwardly, we can minimize the spoilage, we can preserve the food, we can extend the shelf life, we can preserve the food as it is, with the color, without the color changes or without the flavor changes or without any spoilage changes. So this is a wonderful technology actually in the field of the food processing. So if you, again, please next slide. So if you look at this, again, the short description of the technology adoption in the food processing. So one is initiation, another one is implementation. So as long as the initiation of these innovative technologies are concerned, the awareness should be there, the attitude should be changed through the innovations, and evaluations should be there. Of course, the awareness, the very important is the not only the industries or not only the scientific level, not only the scientists. Here it has to be reached to the every stakeholders, to the awareness towards this technology adoptions. Not much innovative technology, but at least the basic technology towards the food security or food preservation. And as long as the implementation part is concerned, the trial implementation and sustained implementation is there. We have first go for the trial implementation. Then, of course, it is sustainably we are using. So it should be also cost benefits based decisions as well when we talk about the implementation part. Please, next slide. So this is something I just want to show you the research and development, how this is taking part in the innovative technologies in the food processing and advanced technologies. So this is a schematic diagram again to make you aware how it is operated. So in conclusion, so what I could say, next slide please. In conclusion, the new technologies are needed by the food industry to meet the challenges of increased competition, globalization, and the growing dynamic and varied consumers' demands. Here, I have to mention importantly, if I my experience with the 25 years of experience with India, I have been traveling to India last 25 years. What I have been observing is I have been inspired of the vegetarians in India, of course. So here the food technologies, innovative food technologies, innovations in the food process are very, very important people that where the vegetarians are there, because for you all, you have to always make sure that you take the nutritional value food with the fresh food without any spoilage and with the flavors and all, because you are totally based on the plant-based food, that is the vegetarian food. Non-vegetarians, no problem, they can balance with the non-vegetarian foods as well. But as long as the vegetarian, the pattern of food is concerned, this food preservation, particularly the post-harvest technology, food preservation, food security, innovative technologies in this food sector is rather important, where the people are totally, that is vegetarian people are totally people are based on the plant-based food. So these innovative technologies not only present an opportunity for the development of new foods, but by the way of it is mind of the processing, these can also be improve the safety and the quality of the conventional foods. That is what we are always talking. Safety of the food and the quality of the food. Additionally, the different physical mechanisms that these technologies utilize can potentially reduce the energy and water consumption, which is in turn can aid in the decreasing the carbon and the water footprint of food processing, thereby working towards the environmentally sustainably and global food security. This is another important area where the new technologies are. We are very keen in the carbon and water footprint of the food processing. That is rather important. So these innovative technologies always look into these two aspects as well. So with that, I think I will conclude my talk with I don't want to extend for 1.5 hours, as I mentioned, Dr. Sharma, because this is, if I extend it, it's going to be too technical because I'm not an entrepreneur. So Sharma Madam, so let me finish with this idea of the basic idea of some of the innovative and important innovative technologies in the food processing and extending the shelf life and assuring the food security towards the growing population, global level, Asian level, in our country level as well. So thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity again, Dr. Sharma ma'am and the coordinator, your friends, and all the organizers of this institution and my friends and Dr. Deshmukh sir for again giving me this opportunity to interact with you through this wonderful, extremely wonderful faculty development program under this best theme of the agriculture, innovations in the agriculture and food security. Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for your wonderful presentation. Now the session is open for discussion. The participants can ask their question by unmuting themselves. So please go ahead.
I'm sure there can be less questions because this is
many more questions are to be there. Ma'am, one question is that how nano packaging will help us.
Could you please repeat it again?
How nano packaging will help us?
Well, as I have shown
Quality wise, and how much time it is better?
It's multiple times better quality wise, because what we are always talking about the food processing is assuring the external appearance and minimizing the spoilage. On these two aspects, this is an excellent technology where we can make sure these two are not damaged. That is the flavor, aroma of the food produce as well as the external appearance of the food produce is being sustained as until, I mean, simply talking, extending the shelf life with all this quality and the quantity assuring, of course. It's absolutely wonderful technology.
How is, ma'am, high pressure processing more advantageous as compared to traditional thermal processing methods?
Well, when we talk about the thermal processing, we are always, that is, we deal with the heat. So simply now, let me take this one. Now, I think you all are from microbiology side as well. In microbiology, we talk about the sterilization. In one aspect, we use the autoclave. In one aspect, we use the oven. In the oven, we use the 170 degrees C for 2 hours. Where in the autoclave, we minimize the heat as 120 degrees C and 50. So why this is, we are doing this is to preserve the nutritional value of the produce what we sterilize. There we don't care at all about the thermal side. We don't care about the value food, the food value or whatever the value of the content. Only we talk about the sterilization. So these are the two things here also applicable, where we always in the high pressure packaging of HPP, which is assure the value, food nutritional value of the food better than, it is better than the thermal aspects. Even the pasteurization, better than the pasteurization.
One question is there, that what are the regulatory, ethical and consumer acceptance challenges related to nano emulsions and nano sensors?
Well, it's a good question. That's what I said. Now the countries like USA, they have now admitted, they have agreed with these technologies, assuring that, of course, the ethical value, still the Asian countries, they're adopting, but still not the level of the Western countries, but it has been accepted under the ethical value, all the, whatever the other aspects as well as you asked, doesn't have any that kind of disadvantages. As it's, I mean, earlier what we were talking about the nanotechnology. Now it has been accepted because it has been assured cooperated with the food.
Ma'am, one more question, that what are the major challenges which will lead in adopting these modern technologies in developing countries? Is it cost, or its infrastructure, or consumer acceptance?
Well, all are there except I think the consumer acceptance, rather than the consumer acceptance, the first thing is the technologies, the challenges, the technologies like in the Western countries. Still we are on the way to, I mean, still to adopt the advanced technologies, one thing. Second is the financial problem, because it's advanced technology. The huge challenge is the financial side, economic side. Then, of course, the consumer acceptance, that is, as I show somewhere here, we have to make aware the people. We have to, being the academics or the being,
One more question is
we
there
have to reach the stakeholder. Yeah.
in the
Yes,
chat
please.
box, that how can innovations in packaging materials improve HPP efficiency?
Could you please repeat that again?
Yes, ma'am. How can innovations in packaging materials improve HPP efficiency?
Let me. This is a wide area, of course, as long as the packaging materials are concerned. In the HPP, I think I did not touch the technology that much. If you can, I think even email me this question. I can give you a very good explanation on this technology-based thing, so that I can, even in the WhatsApp also, I can give you all the details, the technologies, because it's little bit a detailed technology that I have to mention here. You're most welcome to chat me through the WhatsApp either or email me. I'm little bit, I think my earphone also out of charge, I think. Anyway, please
Any other
continue.
participants if you want to ask question? Participants, if you have any questions, please you can ask by unmuting yourself.
I think, yeah.
One question I will be asking now, that in countries like Sri Lanka, where agriculture plays a vital role, what impact have these innovations had on small scale farmers and rural food industries?
Question, because my earphone is not that.
Okay. I am repeating the question. In countries like Sri Lanka, where agriculture plays a vital role, what impact have these innovations had on small-scale farmers and rural food industries?
Yeah, it's a challenging factor, of course, like India and Sri Lanka, for the small scale farmers, it's a challenging factor because still we are in the industrial level. Most of we have to, that is.
Ma'am, your voice is breaking. Ma'am, please unmute yourself. Unmute yourself.
Yes. Okay, I'm back. I changed my
Okay, now
earphone.
you are
I'm
audible.
fine now because I changed my earphone. I didn't check the charge of my earphone. That's why. Yes. Again, let me repeat that again. Now all these technologies are at the industrial level. So it has to reach, of course, as you mentioned, it's a very good aspect actually what you asked. It has to reach the small scale farmers level. Unless otherwise, because they are the, very major part of the producers as well. So unless otherwise, we can't talk all about innovations and all. So this is again, this is the responsibility of the governing authorities as well as the researchers, the industries and everywhere. We have to take this towards the farmers little by little. The acceptable level.
Loknath Deshmukh wants to ask some question. You can please unmute yourself and ask question. Dr. Loknath Deshmukh, Assistant Professor, ITM University, Raipur.
I saw one question here in the chat.
Yes, yes.
Hello. Yeah,
Hi,
hello.
ma'am. Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Thank you so much for the nice session, ma'am, and for your expertise and this type of information. I just have a very basic question. I'm working on mushroom production actually. Okay, from last 5 years, but I'm not finding a good way to package it. So, can you suggest, ma'am, a good way to package the mushrooms?
Well, the insurance of the mushroom actually it is 1 or 2 days, I think, lifespan. Is it so? Am I right, sir? Yeah, maximum of 3 days lifespan.
Maximum
I think,
2 to 3 days. Yeah.
That's right, after the harvest. So, to be honest with you, I think as they are now, the small scale farmers or medium level farmers, time being, of course, just talking about 3 days, whatever that we are adopting, just the packaging and giving the expiry date of 3 days is, I think that is what mostly is going on now, even by the industry, big industry. I have visited some of the mushroom industries as well, big farms as well, but still they are struggling with the innovative, that is technology.
Exactly.
Yeah, that is the everywhere. I'm not sure about India, but in Sri Lanka, that's the challenging side for them as well, because it's rather difficult. So at the moment, there is no alternative having the expiry dates there as 3 days and consuming within 3 days, unfortunately. So I think we have to work fast towards the technology, innovative technologies towards the mushroom packaging as well. Because whatever the technologies that is I have been talking now, I talk now, actually, none of those technologies will be, I think, applicable as long as the mushroom is concerned. Because this is extending the shelf life by 2 weeks, or 1 month, 2 months, something like that. But of course, mushroom, whatever the packaging I think we do, we can't extend the shelf life more than a week. Am I right? Because the spore formation will be there by the fungi. That can't be. So it is dangerous and toxic productions. It's a dangerous situation. So having the shelf life for 3 days and consuming within 3 days is the practice what is going on, and we have to work, and you and me, everyone have to work towards it, I think, unfortunately.
One more question
Thank you
is
so much.
there
Thank you, sir.
from Divya Tandon. She has asked that how AI-based smart sensors helps to contribute innovative food processing.
Well, that is what one aspect I mentioned. Some of the aspects actually, the sensors are there, because in what is the benefit of the advanced technology side, innovative technology side, what we get is that it works with the sensors. So the sensors are there for us to tell whether the spoilage is starting there or whether the color changes are starting there. So we lose the product, or we lose the food, or we lose the fruits and vegetables because of the color changes, external appearance, people won't buy it. And the second one is flavor, the aroma, changes in the flavor of the aroma. And then the third one, of course, the appearance is a very important one. Then the aroma. Aroma changing because the flavor changing because of the contamination or the infection of these microorganisms. So the sensors telling us actually whether it is about to spoil with the microorganisms contaminations or else color changes due to gaseous exchanges, the imbalance in the ethylene and oxygen productions, all these things. So this AI-based technology is having the sensors, which is giving us this sensoring that it is sensing these two aspects also. The gaseous exchanges, abnormal gaseous exchanges, as well as contamination of the microorganisms. So this is a very good two areas where we can preserve the food and extend the shelf life.
Mohini Sharma ma'am has asked that how can innovation improve food safety and quality?
Well, that is what all about I talk. This is innovations, innovative technologies, if they are to extend the shelf life of the fruits and vegetables, harvested fruits and vegetables, or the preserved food, packaged food. So this is what our ultimate objective is, extending the shelf life without any spoilage and with the quality as it is when it is packed or when it is harvested. So all these technologies are there, innovative technologies are there, extend the shelf life of the food produce or the harvested produce without changing its quality. So ultimately the quantity, where it works.
Rupali ma'am, please ask your question.
Got the answer actually. The same question was that I just was needing elaboration on nano sensors. So ma'am have explained it already. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ma'am, what global standards of quality assurance should be followed to ensure food safety and international compliance?
The global standards.
Yes.
In terms of
It's global standards of quality assurance to ensure food safety and international compliances. If you want to export it, the food products, what international challenges we have to maintain?
Challenges, you mean? Yeah. Say, for example,
Food standards we have to maintain.
That's right. If you take the mango, if you are planning to export the mango, I don't know. Yeah, it will be available in India as well. The Tom Jersey, which is a bigger, beautiful, very big size mango, orange color or the yellow color. So it is the one mostly exported from Sri Lanka. Tom Jersey is very expensive also compared to the other varieties. So this mango, when there is even a small black color spot. But when we buy that fruit with that 50 or 60 spot, we'll buy it. Because we are not bothered about this quality, because we know that spot will not damage the internal aroma or the flavor or any taste of the fruit. But when you export it, even one single spot, black spot is there, the people won't export it. That is discarded once it's exported. So these are the simply talking, the external appearance and of course the aroma of the whatever the food product is exported. So these are the main concern of the people when you export actually. Even I can give you a good example. Sri Lanka is a country which is exporting the tea. So during the COVID period, or right after the COVID period, I can't remember exactly, mostly I think the COVID period, when the tea is a huge amount of tea is exported to Russia. So they are one of the important countries which is importing tea from Sri Lanka. So we heard that just one mice was notified in that huge loads of the tea somewhere for some reason. So the whole loads of tea was discarded and I think it returned also something, but they did not accept them. Only one small mice was found there. So these are the things. They of course think in terms of microbiology aspect as well as the pesticides or this free from the pesticides and all. And also it should be very, whatever the external appearance they expect, it should be there. So it depends actually. Simply talking, they look at the external appearance, first of all, and then of course they are so much of concern about the pesticides free. So even if they just find whatever the way there is a spray of the pesticide, so thereafter you can't at all export that product from your country to that particular country. So these are the very critical aspects they see, but it's not that big issue to make sure all these things and exporting. Just very minimum level, you free from microbial infection and free from any external appearance, changes in the external appearance, and free from the pesticides and fungicides application. Simple three things what they expect. If these three are not there, you can get whatever they expected income from that.
Ma'am, just a simple and a basic question that nano-based food packaging for consumers we are trying that. But is there any long-term studies available on its impact, or what will be the disadvantages of this packaging?
Well, to be honest with you, I did not look at the disadvantages side, particularly the long-term disadvantages side. But of course, I can let you know. Everyone is, having a concern when it says nano side. So people are little, worried or concerned on that aspect. But with the long term, of course, I'm not that sure right now. Simply talking, as it's a new technology and it is dealing with the heavy metals like, silver and all, people have the concern. But now that has also been, cleared, this mixing up or the coating with the nanochemicals will not cause any health effects. So that is the minimum, trace amount. It is in the trace amount.
One more question is there that from Tamanna Bhuyan, Dr. Tamanna Bhuyan, Northeast, that you met her in Trichy last year, ma'am. And her question is that what kind of preservatives we should use in herbal juice? We are in the process of making some herbal juices. Tamanna Bhuyan from USTM Meghalaya. We met in Trichy.
Hi. Okay. I know that many of you I have met there.
Yes.
Yeah. The herbal juice, right? The preservative method.
Yes.
Well, it depends on the shelf life, how long you are trying to extend the shelf life, whether a day or 2 or week or 3 or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Depends on that. I think first we should look at it. Herbal use. If you are trying to package and export, or if you are package and market it, of course you have to be as long as the herb, because the herbal juice what we use is because of this phytochemical value. So whatever the packaging methods or whatever the preservative methods we are using should not affect its phytochemical value. For example, the antioxidants or vitamin C or vitamin A. So if we can make sure, we can do that, but it is again based on how long and what purpose you are trying to preserve it, whether it is short-term preservation or long-term preservation. And also the first aspect you have to, as long as the herbal juice concerned, you have to make sure that you are not, say for example, if you go for the thermal thing, you can't use it because you will spoil the phytochemical values of the product. So better avoiding the thermal aspect, and you can use any other aspect. Again, based on how long you are trying to preserve it. The technology should be chosen.
If any more questions are there, please you can ask. Dr. Yugal Kishore Mohanto has asked.
Yeah, ma'am.
Yes, you can ask. Yes, if anyone wants to
The
ask.
same line.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Dr. Loknath, you can ask.
If there is something that can say eco-friendly preservatives in nanobiotechnology.
Please repeat your question.
Repeat your question.
Yeah, I'm just asking.
That's a problem.
Is there anything that
Eco-friendly something.
can use as an eco-friendly preservative?
Preservative that is eco-friendly. I think so. He is asking that any eco-friendly preservative is there.
For which? For the herbal juice.
Eco-friendly preservative.
Preservative for which he is asking, which type of food? Any. Or he is referring to herbal juice.
Or the other question may be that do these technologies contribute to reducing carbon footprint and ensuring environmental sustainability?
Yeah, I mentioned there, whatever the technologies that I talk about here, actually, they are basically on these two aspects as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Water and carbon footprint. Yeah. I think the sir asked about the question. I'm not clear which food we are referring to, actually, the preservative, eco-friendly preservative. Well, if it's the fruits and vegetables, then it has another. Say now, some of my students are doing some research on the extending the shelf life for the vegetables. So they are going with the different materials like dried banana leaf, then paper, then something like that. So in such a way, depends on the types of the food, what kind of eco-friendly preservative methods that we could use. If you say, for example, if you take the fish, there is nothing other than just salting and drying, which is 100% eco-friendly.
Dr. Yugal Kishore Mohanta from Meghalaya has asked question, ma'am, that is there any impact of composition of food materials on packaging materials?
No, I would say, but again, depends on the food type as well. So far, no much research work mentioning about the changes in their phytochemical quality with the packaging material. That's how it's being chosen. But again, depends on the duration that you preserve it. That's the thing. So, for example, if you are using the polythene in the refrigeration for, like, let's say 2 months, which is not at all good. So again, depends on such categories as well. On what temperature, how long you are trying to preserve. So based on that, we can choose the packaging materials. Mostly it does not. Yeah.
Nidhi ma'am, you can ask your question.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Hi, good evening. Hi.
Ma'am, I just wanted to know, like you were talking about that packaging material of like polythene we are using for long-term refrigeration. It has impacts. Ma'am, that was my question also. Ma'am, we are using dry leaves and we are saving them for some kind of product we are making. So what will be the suitable packaging material we can use it so that it can be transported also and it can be reused? For dry leaves, ma'am.
For dry leaves?
Yes, ma'am.
Dry leaf vegetables, you mean?
Ma'am, like we have dried it and we are using it in powdered form. So we have to store it.
Ah.
Yes, ma'am. So can you suggest
Yeah.
some kind of a thing? Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I think it is there is other the paper is the best one without changing
Okay.
its quality, and you can keep as long as I think you paper in the sense not just the paper. There are, I mean, the based on the thickness of the paper and
Right,
also
ma'am.
the yeah something like
Right.
this. Yeah,
Oh, okay, ma'am. Thickness of
which
the
is
paper for long term.
exactly
Yes, ma'am. In like minus
long
80, we store the things. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
right. That's
So, ma'am,
right.
any kind of biodegradable thing or sustainable practice we can use paper rather than using paper. Is there some kind of thing we are manufacturing, or is some kind of research going on for this?
I haven't done, unfortunately, so far. Of course, biodegradable. Well, the I would say the Palmyra leaf here in Sri Lanka for some food products, right? Palmyra
ma'am.
products, Palmyra leaf, the bags which are made up of Palmyra leaf, dried Palmyra leaf itself is being
Yes,
used.
ma'am.
Yeah, which is absolutely
Hmm.
durable as well as eco-friendly. So something
Absolutely.
like that. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
ma'am, it
That's
will not affect our quality also of the
exactly.
Yes, ma'am.
Cost
Thank you so
effective.
much, ma'am.
Yeah. Cost
Yeah.
effective as well. Very
We can
I
think
mean,
of, yes, ma'am. We can think of something like that which will not affect our
that's
work
right.
material also. Thank you so much,
Scientific.
ma'am. It was really a nice session. Thank
My
you,
my
Shama ma'am. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.
my pleasure. My
The thing
pleasure.
is there when we are adding some or the other kind of the preservative in any of the leaves or the powder, we are increasing its shelf life. That is true, but some
Yes,
of the
ma'am.
other type of the taste change and some chemicals which are
Quality.
added, they may lead to some of the hazardous things or the change in the taste, as per my view. So
Absolutely.
less preservative should be used in my view, and
That's
use
definitely.
it in the natural form only. So to be
Well, now in sorry, Dr. Shamanan, now from Sri Lanka, particularly from the village side, there are lots of women. They are packaging this dried leaf, as you said,
yes, yes.
the moringa leaf. The moringa
Mm.
leaf powder has become very famous now. Then curry leaf powder. Then there are many. So they export the moringa leaf powder has become very famous now. They export and they don't use any preservative at all. Just
Without preservative, we can use it.
that's
Yes,
right.
yes,
Shade
yes.
drying as well, not that direct drying, shade drying, and they and so the taste it will give you the taste as it is,
Taste
even in
as.
the and also no preservative at all. Yeah. So that has quite a long shelf life, and of course people also buy within because it has a much demand also. So the people will buy very
Mm.
quickly. Yeah, in abroad actually when it is exported.
Thank you
But
so
I
much.
heard was, yeah. What I heard was people are waiting and people are booking for the even the small boutique for this moringa powder. So that kind of a demand they have. Yeah.
So if any questions are there, you can raise hand or we will proceed further. If no questions are there. So ma'am, it was a very wonderful session. As I would like to say that knowledge shared is knowledge multiplied. So we have gained a very large amount of things from you, and your scholarly lecture on innovations in food processing and quality assurance has intellectually stimulated and was highly enriching experience for all of us. You not only presented the latest cutting edge technologies such as HPP, ultrasound assisted methods, UV radiation, cold plasma, nano encapsulation, and nano based packaging systems, but also explained their practical significance in ensuring food quality, safety, and sustainability. Your talk was very impactful in the way you interlinked global challenges such as food security, climate change, and rising population demands with innovative scientific solutions that hold the promise of transforming the agri-food sector. Your perspective has helped our participants understood how emerging technologies can serve as catalysts for enhancing shelf life, preserving nutritional value, and reducing the environmental footprint of food processing industries. Your lecture has not only broadened the knowledge horizons of our participants, but has also inspired them to explore new avenues of research and innovation in food science and technology. The international dimensions you brought to this FDP has been invaluable in giving our participants a sense of the global trends and expectations in food processing and quality assurance. On behalf of all the participants, colleagues, and my co-coordinator, I extend our greatest and deepest gratitude to your gracious presence for sharing your expertise and for enriching this program with your wisdom and insights. We are confident that your session will leave a lasting impact, motivating participants to pursue innovative, interdisciplinary, and sustainable approaches in their teaching, research, and professional practices. And as an old proverb reminds me, when we share knowledge, we sow the seeds of innovation for generations to come. Once again, ma'am, we sincerely thank you for your valuable time, effort, and inspiring words. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shama, ma'am. I'm so delighted, so happy to see you all again, particularly you, ma'am, and Dr. Prakash, Professor Prakash, and my good friend.
Yes.
So all of you, so nice to see you all, and very nice to meet you all. Rather than, having my talk,
Ma'am,
building my class, it's a pleasure to me. Always
a formal
interesting.
vote of thanks is also there, ma'am, for you.
Sorry.
A formal vote of thanks is also there.
Yeah,
from
I
our
know, I
team.
know, I know, I know, I know. Thank you, thank you. Well, I'm so delighted. I'm so happy of this. Thank
Okay.
you.
Ma'am, unmute yourself. Rupali ma'am, please unmute yourself.
Yes, ma'am. With this, we conclude day 4 of our FDP. On behalf of organizing team, I, Rupali Kharche, sincerely thank our esteemed speakers for their time and expertise. Our coordinator, Dr. Shama Ebeg, for her guidance, and all participants for their active engagement. Now, to formally extend gratitude, I invite Ms. Yogita to deliver the vote of thanks. Yogita, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. As we come to the close of day 4 of AICTE ATAL FDP on technological innovation in agrotech and food processing, it's my privilege to extend vote of thanks on behalf of Swami Shri Swarupanand Saraswati Mahavidyalaya. We are deeply grateful to our distinguished experts for sharing their expertise in today's session. I am very thankful to Mr. Nikunj Soni sir for his engaging session on entrepreneurship and innovation ecosystem in agri-food sector. He not only elaborated about the startups but also guided us on how institute build thinking ecosystem for students. His practical insights on incubation, funding opportunities inspired all of us to think beyond conventional academics. Thank you, sir. My sincere thanks to Professor MRJC Chandrakantha Mahendranathan ma'am for her highly informative session on innovation in food processing and quality assurance and safety procedures. She gives detailed idea of challenges of food processing and techniques used in food processing such as cold plasma processing, novel thermal processing, nano emulsion and nanobiosensor. This provided a deeper understanding of emerging trends in food technology. Thank you so much, ma'am. We remain in debt to our patrons for their constant support and guidance, which continue inspired us in conducting such a meaningful academic programs. We also grateful to acknowledge the visionary leadership of our principal, Dr. Hansa Shukla ma'am, whose encouragement and motivation has been instrumental in the success of this FDP. Special appreciation goes to faculty coordinators, Dr. Shama E. Beg ma'am and Mrs. Rupali Kharche ma'am, and whole organizing committee whose diligent planning and teamwork ensured smooth conduct of today's session. And of course, heartfelt thanks to all the participants for their enthusiasm, active engagement, and thought provoking interaction, which truly enriched today's learning experience. Before we conclude, I want to remind everyone to fill out the feedback form as it also serves as your attendance and join tomorrow's session on time for another enlightening day of discussion. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chandra ma'am, for
Thank
your
you,
nice
Samana.
presentation and taking time for us. Thank you so much,
Thank you
ma'am.
very much. Thank you so much. And thank you, Dr. Yogi. I think he has just dropped the message, who is another friend of mine, and we have been engaging in some chapters, publishing some chapters as well. So thank you, sir, for your wonderful comment. Thank you, everyone, for your collaboration, for your feedback, especially, and the time. So thank you so much. Good night, Dr.
Good night,
Shama,
ma'am. Good night.